Lo and show ahead here on this edition of the Kansas City Chiefs Report, we're going to talk about not one but two players with ties to the Seattle Seahawks, as we will discuss a potential trade for DK Metcalf, and could Tyler Lockett sign with KC in free agency. We'll discuss both those things and more coming up here in just a matter of moments on today's show. Tyler Jones, your fearless leader, here with you. Thanks for joining us. If you want the Chiefs to make a big move, free agency is almost here. We're counting down till Monday. When that day quickly approaches, also talking trades among other things. If you want Brett V Company to be aggressive, I need you to like today's video, let your voice be heard loud and clear, smash that like button. If we get 500 likes, I guarantee something major is going to happen. Do your part, hit the like button. We'll get started with today's show. The folks at Athletic have named the Kansas City Chiefs as a top trade destination for Seattle Seahawks wide receiver DK Metcalf. This comes just within a day after Metcalf announced that he would like to move on from Seattle, putting in a trade request amid the ongoing contract negotiations, as he was trying to get a new deal done, stay in the Emerald City long-term. Now, he's looking to go elsewhere, and in particular, he's looking to play for a contending team. What about the idea of coming to Kansas City, a team that almost drafted him several years ago and ended up with Mecole Hardman? That's a whole another story. Nate Taylor of The Athletic says the following: Chiefs need a true X receiver. There's nobody better on the market to fit that need than Metcalf, who is still in his prime and can dominate one-on-one matchups on the perimeter. Just imagine Metcalf lining up with tight end Travis Kelce, a receiver Rashid Rice in the slot, and speedy receiver Xavier Worthy going in motion before the ball is snapped. On contract, on this contract extension, Metcalf would be making true number one receiver money, at his position. Deal would also end around the time Chiefs would need to sign RS and Worthy two new contracts. And I got to tell you, this could be a steal, and the reason why I point to a couple things: I think he would be a great fit because he would add a missing element to this K-City Chiefs offense, and I would argue that DK Metcalf has been underutilized in Seattle's offense. What they do in Seattle is not what the Chiefs do offensively when it comes to the abilities to spread you out and make plays and maximize on their playmakers, and it's a whole different world when you get to play with Patrick Mahomes as opposed to playing with Geno Smith, and they're about to go a run heavy offense in Seattle. You bring him into Kansas City, get to play with Patrick Mahomes. They're going to make some reassurances on the offensive line, and he does something totally different than what Rashid Rice and Xavier Worthy do. I think you could be looking at untapped potential for DK Metcalf and getting paid money that is based on what he's done throughout his career, but best football could be in front of him. Kansas City reaching that untapped potential. Metcalf so far in his career is a two-time Pro Bowler, a second-team All-Pro. In 2020, he set the Hawks franchise record for most receiving yards in a single season in 2020 with over 1,300 for the former second-round pick out of Ole Miss. And you look at these statistics of what DK Metcalf has been able to do. He's been steady Eddie, very consistent with this past season, even with an injury, and he hasn't really been hurt that much. Still almost had 1,000 yards at back-to-back yard campaigns in 2023 and 20122. He has an ability to get into the end zone. He has the most 50-plus yard receiving touchdowns and seat hooks franchise history, and on top of that too, he has the most consecutive multi-touchdown receiving games in franchise history as well. And you don't have to break the bank either if you're going to trade for DK. Here's two things that I want to point. Let's go ahead and start with the trade compensation. Here's what The Athletic is proposing when they mention DK as a trade target for Kansas City. They're saying that the Chiefs only have to give up a third-round pick at 95 overall, and this is in spite of the report from front of the show Diana Rini saying that the Seahawks are looking for a first and a third. New flash, they're not going to get a first and third. That's just simply not happening. And then on top of that, you go down to the financial terms. After you only give up a third-round pick, then you're looking at a contract offer. The Athletic is saying about 3 years, $85 million, what Kansas City could potentially afford, and maybe he's willing to take less play on a contending team like the Kansas City Chiefs. Brett Fay make it happen. This will take this offense to a whole other level. You'll have your receiving core set for the next 3 years. You're not even worried about what happens with Travis Kelce at that point in time. And Noah Gray, you got to think, is going to get a little better too. I think this would be lethal to have this trail if you had DK along with Rashid Rice and Xavier Worthy. I mean, you might as well be eating some Three Musketeers, because it'd be the Three Musketeers in Kansas City with those three as your receiving core. Should the Chiefs trade for DK touchdowns all day, he rules. Type T for trade, P for pass. Get the comment section. Let us know what you think. Now, if the Chiefs do trade for DK Metcalf, we will do a video and react to it right here on the KC Chiefs Report. Will go live. And if they make any sorts of big moves, we're going to cover every single one here on the channel. No move is too big, no move is too small. We got it all here on the Kids See Chiefs Report. Subscribe now. Turn on notifications. YouTube. Chief TV, lock us and stay up to date. We got you covered here on the channel. From one Seahawk to a former Seahawk, Tyler Lockett. Is it time to bring Tyler Lockett home to Kansas City? Arrowhead ad is suggesting that the Chiefs should sign the newly released free agent wide receiver Tyler Lockett. They announced yesterday that Seattle was moving on from him. They didn't want to take on a $30 million cap hit, and within 30 minutes, DK Metcalf put in his trade request to move on from Seattle. So what about Tyler Lockett, the other older, cheaper receiver from Seattle who's had a pretty good career and he's got ties to the Chiefs? We'll go to that here just a bit. Let's start with this from Arrowhead Attic. Most importantly, the Chiefs have a need for veteran receiver now that Hollywood Brown and DeAndre Hopkins are both free agents. Maybe one of those guys returns to Kansas City, but if not, Lockett could fill the veteran receiver role. Another key reason is that Lockett's father, Kevin Lockett, was drafted by the Chiefs in the second round of 1997 draft. I was a year old, by the way, and spent the first 4 years of his career there. Both Lockett men attended Kansas State University as well, which is roughly 2.5-hour drive from Kansas City, Manhattan, Kansas, out in the middle of nowhere, the Little Apple. If Tyler Lockett wants to continue following in his father's footsteps, sing with the Chiefs is a great way to do that. This feels right. The idea of Tyler Lockett in Kansas City following his father's footsteps played at Kate. He's from my hometown of Tulsa, Oklahoma. He grew up rooting on the Chiefs, and Lockett, I think, still has